Hey fellow netizens, Plus here. What does it mean to become the next generation of gacha games? Imagine Factorio, Xenoblade and Death Stranding had a threesome, and the ultimate result of that is Arknights Endfield. The anticipation and longing for the beta test access was huge. The sad reality was that the majority of people went from hoping to get access to coping to get access. But we really came a long way, from alpha test last year to beta test this year. And eventually, there will be a Sigma test for everyone, so we can finally evaluate if you are ready for the Endfield experience, and then we can start ending fields at the Arkest of Knights. So, where do we start? By choosing between ranked racism or professional genocide. Although it is definitely preferred to have an average education of the history of Terra, I would confidently say that you actually don't need to be an expert of Arknights lore to enjoy Endfield's story. Trust me, I'm saving you from a lot of depression. Unfortunately, this was all a dream, and in actuality you got shot down while eeping in an advanced coffin. You woke up not remembering who you are or where you are, but you know one thing for sure. This planet called Talos 2 is yours to take. It is time to exploit the last bit of its resources because the factory must grow. Welcome to the true experience of playing Arknights Endfield. We are not here for sparkling fantasy combat, but brutal war crime contracts. Endfield Industries is an industrial and construction company that put exploitation of the native lives on Talos 2 above all else. It is our primal goal to spread the so-called Terran civilization far and wide in this brave new world. You ask me why? Because we fucked up our previous planet, and now we are here to fuck up this one as well. Unfortunately, Endfield Industries has mined too much minerals, reducing the local rock population drastically. And in response, the rocks try to fight back, which is why you have to kill every single rock formation on this planet. So, whenever someone asks you what you were doing, your answer would always be, I'm an Endfielder, I do Endfield stuff. Actually, I have to correct this one. It is not I'm an Endfielder, it is we are the Endfield. Because luckily, you won't commit war crimes alone. You will always be accompanied by your employees. We have Supervisor Perliker, aka Amya 2.0. She is probably a workaholic, so you can slack off. Happy Chen, she is the meme, the smile of the company that we have to spread as far as possible. Congratulations, you have just wasted another 10 megabytes of data. Wolfguard, he is back to using guns. Wolfguard the emo wolf does emo wolf stuff. Zaihi, the techno nun, which is a word I just invented. She has been worshipped by a large portion of people on the official Discord server of Endfield Industry. Are you interested in joining? Well, the requirements are simple. Get a master's degree in computer science as well as theology, and you will be blessed by Zaihi's armpits every night. Alternatively, you can say goodbye to your body, become one with the machine, because for her, the flesh is cringe. Amber, on the other hand, is the sanctor that acts like a reformed sarcasm. She just doesn't use guns. Aviwenna would be my personal pick as Employee of the Month, not because of how dedicated she is at work, but because of how dedicated she is after work. Gilberta is not her name. You will always be my Angelina. Anyone in the company who calls her Gilberta will be fired immediately. Aurora, aka Snowshine, has the most convenient lore plot. She is supposed not to wear much to be able to withstand the cold. She may be one of the most wholesome looking polar bear women you will ever see, but don't get fooled by her cuteness, she is terrifyingly strong. From freezing cold arts to arts that can burn everything to the ground. Introducing the potential lore woman who keeps yapping about defeating demons. She was infamous for being one of the most broken operators and is probably going to stay that way in Endfield as well. Yvonne is the gamer girl that every League player wishes themselves to have. During combat she can perform some intense penetration. A wise woman from ancient Terran era once said, don't underestimate a Volver's stamina. Arclight is the new speedy horse who can technically give you an infinite supply of SP if you know what you are doing. Depan is a panda, and he can cook. And as for Li Fen, I'm sorry to all the Li Fen enthusiasts, but I know nothing about him, because I haven't gotten him yet. Well, I could have gotten him if they added a key feature into this game, which is the ability to use my credit card. The combat system is quite unique. As you might have noticed, you are not alone doing the fighting. You can bring your whole squad and gang up on a single individual to insert dominance. On top of that, there are also unique combo skills that you can trigger by fulfilling different requirements during a fight. But make sure not to get too close to the waifu grabber. There are multiple ways to avoid that from happening. Hit the circle before it vanishes, fill this bar to trigger a stagger, and your next attack will be a lot more lethal. Then there are a ton of different arts reactions that you can trigger by either combining different arts attacks or overlapping the same arts attribute. Beside the combat, you can also order your squad members to commit mass deforestation in your stead, or even mine minerals, and all of that simply requires one click. Luckily, we don't have to mine manually. This is an industrial company after all, which is why we got automated machines to get the job done. All the resources are the foundation for the endgame, which is the production of stacked gears at an industrial scale. So, let's talk briefly about the factory. Do note that I will only talk about it briefly and make more extensive videos about it once the game is officially out. First off, this is the core of your facility. Everything begins here. You wonder where the factories are? Let me just activate my domain expansion. We start with the refinery. After that, the processed materials can be turned into a variety of products for further processing. At the next stage of the factory, you can combine specific products to mass produce useful items in an industrial scale. Things like healing potion, batteries, and explosive. Touching grass is overrated. We will plant them on a massive scale just to burn them. However, there can't be a production line if you don't provide it with sufficient energy, which is why it is always crucial to keep an eye on your power usage and power output. To be able to increase the power output, you have to use Originium. Playing this game for long enough and any factory will end up looking like a spaghetti. The more you look, the less you see. But don't worry, if the factory somehow ends up not working, you don't need to blame yourself. Learn feng shui and blame the facilities. Aside from the never-ending grind to achieve peak efficiency at the factory, you can also build quality of life facilities outside. You can build a stationary Lancer 2 anywhere you want. Too tired to walk from one location to the next? Maybe you should consider building some ziplines so that this game stops being a walking simulator. Start engineering your complex network of ziplines throughout the entire map to embrace the ultimate experience of the 5G network. The enemies are too annoying to fight? How about building automated weapons to fight in your stead? There is a wide variety of different weapons in your arsenal to try out, from regular gun towers to big grenade launchers, from beam towers to freezer guns. And this really makes you wonder, can we play Arknights in Endfield? Yes, there is an actual tower defense game mode in the outpost, where you can even see the paths the enemies would take. At some point I would even say, this is literally Arknights in 3D, but you can just turtle it in 4K. Once you have established your corporate influence in other locations, you will be able to build sub-factories. These facilities can increase your production per second, depending on what you want those to specialize on. I have a few of my favorite setups that I would like to present. This one is for smelting raw materials, this one is the wheat house, and this one can provide me with an infinite amount of industrial explosives. Alternatively, you can just cook mom's spaghetti. Anything works as long as it gets the job done. But the one thing that I need would be a facility that can produce nuclear warheads. Progressing in this game far enough and you will be able to visit Hongshan, basically the Yen of Talos 2. I have to say, this is by far one of the most beautiful places in this game. Shu Event Rerun came a bit early this year. Aside from all the base management on Talos 2, there is also a base system in space, more specifically the real headquarters of Endfield Industry, a giant spacecraft called Dijen. By the way, this is where the gacha happens. It is also the place where you can send your operators to work, grow skill materials, produce level up items, interact with your operators, and best of all, the bridge. Maybe it's just me, but this place keeps giving me a major Lone Trail vibe. And that's about it. I really need to hold back with the content of this video and keep the best stuff for the final release. Big shoutout to my channel members, you guys are the best and the reason why I don't feel shit about myself. Consider to like and subscribe so that you won't miss out on future Endfield content.